Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I quit my job, sold my car, gave everything away so I could travel the world with no set destinations. I feel like I have said that so many times at this point I should start singing it. Don't worry, I won't. If you're new here, you can click right here. It'll bring you to the beginning so you are all caught up. And if you've been with me this whole time, then you know we started in Alaska, went to Sweden and Germany, went down to Tunisia, up to Prague, and now we are on our way to Budapest. Getting good at this, huh? We are on an extremely tight travel schedule, and like Prague, I did not budget much time for Budapest. And like Prague, as soon as I got to Budapest, I went like this. Budapest is gorgeous, and I simply had not budgeted enough time to see the place, but as we learned in Prague, there is never enough time. So we are gonna have to pick and choose and decide for ourselves what experiences were important to us and how we would spend our time in the city. Surprisingly enough, we decided on the tourist experience. Complete with a hop-on, hop-off bus, Tommy and I had no shame as we skimmed the surface of the city and hopped on, hopped off at the city's greatest sights. Ah, the Vajnahuda Castle, based on Transylvania Gothic and aimed to embody the first 1,000 years of Hungarian architecture. How do I know this? I was told by my tour guide. A totally unexpected downside is that after we got off our guided tour, we had no idea where we were or how to get around.
And we need to get to Josef, and we're on Josef.
Your brain kind of switches when you're on a tour. You're being driven around and told what to do, so as soon as you're back in the real world and you're having to figure things out for yourself, you have to start thinking in a totally different way. So we stood on the side of the road looking at maps in Hungarian and English, trying to figure out how to get home.
Well, do you think Josef Turret means Josef Boulevard? Welcome to our hostel.
Hostels. Every backpacker's home away from home. If you haven't stayed in one, they're not as scary as you may think. Ooh, this one has pretty walls and a pool. The next morning, we continued our travel tourist session via tourist bus, of course, listening to canned facts and taking in the sights between stops. Fisherman Bastion looks extremely similar to a certain cartoon princess castle, don't you think? Built in 1902, this baby was only for looks. It was never used for protection. It was built for locals to have a panoramic terrace to enjoy views of the city. How do I know this? My guide told me. Yep. After the morning at the castle, we hopped off the hop-on, hop-off bus for the final time, and we got fancy. Like Bizet fancy at the Szczecin bathhouse in central Budapest. For about $15, you get a wristband that hooks up to a locker for a full day of playtime in the world-famous thermal baths. The water is pulled from hot springs at a piping 170 degrees, but mixed with cool fresh water to reach the perfect lounging temperature. For chess. Obviously, for a game of chess. Inside there are pools of varying degrees, hot and cold, as well as steam rooms.
Alright, this room is intense, and we're gonna go sit in there, and then run into that cold, and then sit back in there.
So apparently it's healthy to go back and forth from the hot to cold to shock and liven up your system. Tommy and I challenged each other to sit in a 122-degree steam room until we could hardly breathe, and then we ran across the spa and plunged headfirst into a frigid 65-degree ice bucket. That will make you feel like you're about to pass out. Head in another stratosphere and about to pass out. Then back into the suffocating steam room, all in the name of health. Some people think that travel is so hard and that you have to be particularly smart or strong to do it. But the real reality is, we're all just figuring it out as we go along. If you're not comfortable figuring things out on your own, there's always the tourist route, which is surprisingly accessible no matter what your travel experience. Sure, sitting on a tourist bus is not as an authentic of an experience, but it gets you out exploring. And you know what? There's really nothing wrong with that. So every once in a while, take the tour, take the bus, and eat at the kind of touristy but really delicious restaurant. Because after all, travel is still a vacation.
Cheers.
Up next is Croatia, the Plitvice Lakes in Croatia. Subscribe now for new travel videos every week. Thanks for watching!